And now we are going one step further. After having thought a little bit about the quality of education and the characteristics of quality from a quite philosophical point of view, now I would like to talk a little bit about using computers in training and what does it mean actually. I'm sure you have already heard about that in this week, and I know that there have been lectures devoted to this specific issue, and I hope to add some value to that actually, because we believe that it's very, very important in the future to bring the power of information systems, ICT, technology-enhanced learning and information, specifically to this area of farming, organic farming, to help actors, stakeholders there to transform their way of farming in a way, in a very informed way actually. So, are you going to use e-learning and or blended learning in your trainings, in your coaching sessions? Are you going to use computers? How could that look like? There are actually, as you might have heard already, different e-learning models. You can see that there are basically three different models you can think of. One is called the enriched model, where computers are used in a traditional classroom or seminar. They just enrich what you do like you always did in trainings without computers. Then there's the so-called integrated way of using computers, where you are doing what we call a blended mode. You are using computers to train people in self-study phases. For example, as you can see here, you can think of self-study in terms of virtual laboratories or interactive practice modes. You can share online materials with your clients, or you can introduce them to information systems, databases, or information systems of organic agricultural food products or seeds or whatever. So this is an integrated way. You have some self-study phases where the students, the learners, your clients are using the computer to study, and then again you meet traditionally in the classroom. And then there is a fully virtual model where everything is online actually. Now think about what would be a suitable one for you, and probably not everybody would come to the same conclusion. Maybe those of you who are very, very affine, very, very close to computers, who maybe know e-learning already very well, think that for their clients and their courses it might be that the course could be even an integrated one, where you are providing some self-study materials in the computer to your clients, to the persons you're doing training with, and some others who are not so sure about this technology-enhanced learning, they might only use some internet sources, some websites, to show it in classroom. They might use electronic scripts or interactive assignments, maybe as well, presentation slides. So all this is actually e-learning. E-learning is not just virtual, fully online learning or the blended learning. E-learning is also the use of computers and technology in classroom. And that's important to keep in mind, that it's not a question of yes or no, but a question of the degree really. We are actually saying that today no training is really taking place anymore without an E component somewhere. It is also important to think about what really to do with e-learning. Do you think that using technology is making sense because you want to develop something completely new? Or do you want to improve something which you have already? So think about you're having a training with farmers, and you're doing that for some time already. Now you think about how could I improve that? And you think maybe I'm going to introduce some e-components here, some self-study modules, some things which everybody always asks I'm going to record as a lecture as I did it today. And I'm giving it to them because this is very, very basic stuff. And they can learn from my lecture recording. So, do you think about the innovation focus of your technology uses to improve something? Or maybe you think about developing a completely new track for your training. And then again, you can think of, do you want to do that with your usual target group, or do you want to reach out to new target groups? And so this is what we always say when we say technology is entering training and the classroom and seminars. We have to be aware, as professionals in this field, that we can do something new with it, or we can improve the existing. We can communicate to those which are already our target groups, or we can think about using the technology to communicate to somebody completely new. Often, of course, these are mixed strategies and motives with which we have. Looking at e-learning today, and specifically also, but not only in higher education, but also in training, we can see that e-learning is changing modes or phases. We were using the computer very, very much in the past to inform our learners about schedules, about curriculum, about rooms, organizational issues, or to present to them the learning materials. And today, in the age of Web 2.0, Twitter, Wiki, YouTube, we are much more using computers in learning to communicate and to collaborate, and to help our learners to communicate and collaborate, to really make learning a social experience, where weblogs are used, e-portfolios. I'm sure you have heard exactly that in different lectures with different words. So I really would like to reinforce that when you start to think about quality of learning, then you always have to think about how is the learning scenario structured as well. Am I providing a communication-oriented environment? Do I encourage conversations between the participants? Do I encourage that they produce materials, that they work in projects, that they invent solutions? Or do I encourage just that they are listening and receiving what I am transmitting to them? So we believe that using technology today is really opening up your mind and making the move from a distribution-oriented way of learning materials and lectures to the learners to a different understanding of learning, where learning is more the organization of collaboration between the learners. Some scientists, some educational scientists, they are talking even about two worlds of learning. They say that in one world, this is a traditional world, students are learning with preformed knowledge, individual, and they use standard content. And then we have another world. That's a world where learning communities and not fixed content or curriculum is used. That's the world of training today. That's where you have to coach people to find individual solutions for their problems. And there, as a trainer, as a coach, as an advisor, you have to take care that you organize working together with your students in knowledge communities. And the degree of pedagogical and the degree of technical innovation is not the same. That's a very, very important message. you can do very innovative, very social, with new learning methods, with autonomous learning, self-study methods. You can do very innovative pedagogical trainings with a low degree of technical innovation. So with traditional media, with a radio, with slide presentations or recordings. But of course you can also use media in a very, very sophisticated way, like I introduced in the slide before. When you use Web 2.0 tools like wikis and weblogs to have students forming their own knowledge landscapes, producing their own solutions, sharing materials which they found on the web. And you have always to think that using media is not automatically making a training good, but it's important to also raise the degree of the pedagogical innovation. So, to conclude this section, e-learning is nothing predefined, really. There are different degrees of implementation intensity of technology. You can enrich your training by using computers in the classroom, for example. But pay attention and think about it carefully. Only computers do not make an innovative training. You need a good pedagogy and an innovative approach.